Hello, I'm Amy Wisman, and I'm here today with my friend Donna Grzybowski. She's the owner of Concept One Cleaning Systems here in South Jersey. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me and answer a few questions.
Not a problem.
Let's just jump right into it. Donna, how long have you been in business?
27 years.
Yikes, you're not old enough.
I started very, very young.
Very good. Well, what made you start your own business?
Opportunity. It was just at the right time, right place, I guess. Husband was not working, and he was working. Found a friend that was doing some stuff on the side, and he found an interest in it, and it ended up being commercial floor cleaning. And he decided that he wanted to maybe venture into it. He seen that there was an opportunity to make some money with it, and we started with that. And I worked as a legal secretary in an attorney's office, so we did all the legalities with the paperwork and created a business.
So you were still working a full-time job
Yes.
when you began this business.
Yes.
And you chose this particular industry, it was floor cleaning at first.
Yes.
Just because there was an opportunity there that your husband saw.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it was floor cleaning primarily. I'm pretty sure that's not where you are only right now. So
No.
how has the makeup of your company changed through the years?
The first 10 years was strictly commercial and cleaning floors for large supermarkets, department stores like your Walmarts, your large ShopRites. When we started, it was always big versus some companies start small. They might start doing floor work for hair salons and little mom and pop shops, but this was big. Ended up 10 years into the business. Changes occurred due to illnesses. My husband had gotten ill, and we found that we had to make some changes. So I branched out into residential cleaning, and we started strictly with the seasonal. Jersey Shore has all seasonal work, so we started with the changeovers, and then we grew into the all year round, and we stopped doing the floor cleaning. So we still do commercial cleaning, janitorial services, and the residential, but we don't do the commercial floor work.
And all those changes, though, were they did they come naturally, or were they things that you pushed for to keep the business moving?
I guess because of the circumstances we were in that were not expected, with my husband being not well, it was a forced decision. It wasn't even a thought of not being in business any longer and just saying, okay, we can't do this the way we're doing it. It was just a decision like, what is there to do that we can still stay in business and be able to provide for our family, and that's why the changes occurred, and it seemed to be the answer at that time.
All right, now I know you because we go to church together, and you've been a Christian all the time I've known you, but there was a point in your career when you came to know Christ, and when was that? And then what kind of change did it make to your business?
I was baptized December 2001, and it was interesting because I started going to a Christian church just maybe a year or so before that, maybe a little bit longer. I actually got baptized in 2001. 2002, there was some major changes with my husband's health, my brother's health, a lot of changes with the business, a lot of issues. So I found that throughout the years with having problems, challenges with business, you deal with them. When I became a Christian, it was a lot different. I remember specifically one night, it was a really, really bad night. I had both my brother and my husband in the hospital. And I sat in my driveway, and I was like, okay, Lord, this is yours, because I don't know what to do any longer. I didn't think I could hold on to the business. That was when all the changes were really coming into place, as far as, do we get rid of the commercial floor work altogether? What do we do? And it was just way, way too overwhelming for me. Way too overwhelming. And I believe that because of my faith and really lifting everything to Him and saying, this is in your hands, because there is no way humanly possible I could get through this. I gave it a year. I even challenged them. I said, I'll give you a year. Tell me what you want me to do with this, And here we are many, many years later still doing it. So obviously my faith is definitely helped me through the business and through the challenges, and we do continue to have those challenges. I don't think as you're Christian, you don't, people, oh, you're a Christian, you don't have as many challenges. I think almost and I laugh because 2001, December 2001, I was baptized. In January of 2002, I got hit with the hardest stuff that I've ever been faced with. So it was almost like, okay,
yeah,
you're a Christian now. What what does that mean?
Right.
So for me, it meant, okay, I'm in this, and you got to hold on to this.
Looking back.
Yep. So pretty intense at that time.
All right, so a little bit lighter. You've been a successful businesswoman for a long time. It's 27 years, a long time. In the book that we're studying for this class, they bring out the point that there are many, many entrepreneurs who never were able to finish college or even go in the first place. So from your own experience personally, do you wish that you had gone to college? I mean, we're finding out now that it's just a matter of hard work and tenacity, sometimes more than of education, that puts some business person ahead. Do you wish that you had gone, or do you feel that it would have benefited you if you had gotten a degree?
That's interesting. I mean, I have a high school graduate. High school graduate. That's it. I didn't go to college. Never was steered to that direction. I don't think it was much of a thought process as I was in business saying, hey, if I had a college education, in the earlier years of business, like this would really help me. I didn't, I really used the people that were around me as a learning tool, Mm-hmm. And that's how I learned. Probably a lot harder and longer, but again, it's the hard work that gets you through whatever you're going through. Now, 27 years later into business, I think, should I have gotten a degree of some sort, or would it have made a difference? Because I'm at a turning point now with my business, I wonder, would I be able to do more still in business, maybe not this particular business, but if I had more of a degree or something. I don't know. I think nowadays when my daughter is going to school for business, I think it's good to have a degree, because that's what it's kind of more about now, is if you're going to go into, unless you're just going to go out and start a business. But with it being so technical and things have changed so much in 27 years since when I started, I don't know. For me personally, I didn't think it was necessary. For my daughter, I do think it's necessary.
That reminds me. So this wasn't on our preset set of questions, but it makes me think of your growing up, and you got a job very quickly during high school, or out of high school, and it was a rather professional job. So can you tell a little bit about that experience? You just seem to have grown up very quickly, and that might have been stuff that lay the groundwork for your later professional career.
Definitely. I mean, maturity is definitely an issue. With anybody, whether you have a degree or you don't have a degree. I think maturity, how you're handling what you're faced with. I went to high school and I was not steered towards college classes, so I did the business end, secretarial business. I was fortunate enough to go right into, I was working while I was in high school. I was working in an attorney's office. I worked for banks, so I got exposed to a lot of different things. When I went out of high school, I was in New York City, and I was working in New York City, and I was working in, the Union for Airline Pilots, and it was just an awesome experience. I was young and got to travel a little bit, and it was just like, wow. But again, it was just putting yourself out there and not being afraid and just doing it. I think that's the key thing, and learning, really being open to learning.
A lot of responsibility at that age for you too.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you're a businesswoman in New Jersey. That's where we live, and there's a lot of regulation all over the country, but in New Jersey, there's lots of it. Can you give me the rundown of all the extra expenses that come from the government?
Well, I say number one, if you could have a business in New Jersey, you could have a business anywhere. anywhere. New Jersey is definitely challenging. And it doesn't matter what size business. People are like, oh, you're just a small business. It doesn't matter. I go through the same stuff that a big business goes through. It's just a small business. Almost, in some senses, I think it's almost to a point where we get, penalized more. I turn around sometimes and say, do you want us to hire people? Do you want us to keep our people? Because it's such a struggle to do the right thing.
And a campaign commercial. Continue on. I'm sorry.
Of course, you have your taxes. You're responsible for your taxes, and we got our sales tax, and we got our payroll taxes, and we got our taxes if we make money. Gosh, you make sure you gotta give them their share.
Yeah.
And then you have the whole other thing with the medical. I mean, that's a whole nother medical insurance. That's a whole nother topic I couldn't even get into with you. You have your insurances, your workers' comp, your liability, and again, I'm not saying these are bad things. I mean, you should have them. It's to protect. Insurance to protect your employees, to protect your customers, protect your business. Your taxes, yes, you should be paying something. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be there. I just think the degree of everything is so intense, so intense. And unemployment. Oh, that's a whole other issue. I mean, I'm not saying that someone shouldn't collect unemployment. We have our ups and downs in our business. We do a lot of seasonal work, so sometimes we're really, really busy, and sometimes we get very slow. So my, people with me who full time and they're slow, yes, collect partial unemployment until we can get busy again. I understand that. What I don't understand is when someone comes to me and has a second job, and on the second job, and they're filling in, and then all of a sudden they leave me, and then they lost their first job, and all of a sudden I'm getting, these little notices of collecting unemployment, and they want to, also take a little bit from my account. And it's like, well, those people didn't come back to me knowing I'm going to be busy again. So it's just a battle. It's just a battle. I could sit here for weeks and tell you about all the red tape. It's it's ridiculous.
Have you had workman's compensation claims? Usually, are they on the up and up, or is that something that they take advantage of you with?
I've been very, very fortunate in 27 years of business and not having many claims. I had a couple of small, because somebody, bopped their head or something, fell, whatever, some careless stuff, and they get checked and everything's okay. Had one particular claim that happened not too long ago, maybe 3 years ago, and it was stupid. It was a stupid claim, but it put my company in a great financial distress because it was a large claim. Because the gentleman lifted something that was too heavy, a trash bag, and we always work in teams to avoid anybody from lifting. It's in our policy, you do not lift. If it's too heavy, do not do it. We just don't want to risk anybody getting hurt. But anyway, he got hurt, and he used surgeries and all this other stuff, and it was a ridiculous amount of money that was put out. All right, whether it was legit, not legit, it is what it is. But here for, say, I'm in business 27, so at that point it's about 24 years in business, never really had a big claim, and that big claim pushed me into a state plan for my workers' comp. So a private company could not give me my insurance after all these years, and I had to pay surcharges, and I had to pay all this extra money because of this one particular thing. It just, again, you have it, and it's there to be used, but it really hurt when, and then you're afraid, you're like, you're afraid to put people out there almost because you're at so much risk.
Right, and you're an interesting career path for people that are in your workforce. They're going out to other people's homes on a regular basis, so you have to make sure that they're honest people. So there's all sorts of other things that you have to deal with, and it's rather high turnover. To some extent on your employees.
It is.
Especially for the seasonal.
Well, yeah, definitely for the seasonal. And it is a high turnover. It's a physical job. It's a job that people get burnt out. Especially the house cleaning. You're going day in, day out. I think the commercial cleaning, you're doing the light office cleaning. A lot of people put that as a second job, and they go in and they make extra money, and that's fine. It's a different level for our house cleaners, and definitely people do get burnt out from it. So yes, I mean, we have people who last for a few years, and we have people who don't. They just can't cut it. They just don't do it. And so yeah, it's challenging to keep people.
Okay. So we talked about regulation and taxes, and you really do play by the rules. So I'm just curious how you feel about, the sort of the fly-by-night cleaning people who, well, they'll just get paid at the table, and they'll clean houses. How do you feel about all that?
Well, that's exactly what they are, cleaning people.
Just a good company.
They're not a company. They're not a company. They don't know what it is to be in business, because business is just not going out there cleaning. Mm-hmm. Business involves doing just what we talked about, going, playing by the rules, knowing all the regulations and rules, and having your people, we're legit. Everybody's legit. Everybody gets paid on the books, and everybody we file all the necessary paperwork. I have nothing against people who are coming from other countries, as long as they're legal to work here. We have to prove that. So I don't really, I try not to give too much thought to those people who are out there, because it's there. Mm-hmm. It does affect our business. Mm-hmm. When it comes to a homeowner, for instance, who is price shopping. Although it's surprising enough, some of those prices of those people who are doing it on the side are almost as equivalent to what I'm paying. So their profit margin is much greater than mine.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Much greater. But when I come in and meet with a homeowner or a business person, I have to remind them what they're getting when they're getting us. They're getting a company, they're getting someone who's going to back up, what their product or their service. Mm-hmm. They're getting people who are not just going to come and go. Mm-hmm. We're real. We're here for the long run. You get someone who's doing it on their own. You don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. A lot of times that's the case. I'm sick today. Well, if they're out there cleaning themselves, they're not going to come out. Or if someone calls out sick here, we have a crew and people come out.
Right, and you're built around, if people call you, you come out.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the things priority. Yes, that's one of the things that I think has kept us in business along. We return calls very quickly. Mm-hmm. Our customer service is very, very strong. I think that's a lot of factors there, for keeping us going for so long.
Right. You referenced years ago when your husband and your brother were both in the hospital at the same time. A lot was going on in your life, and at that time there was also a lot of scraping going around with the business itself. So you're down to this point. You had people who were counseling you to just file bankruptcy and then pick up the pieces after that, but you refused to. You really wanted to avoid bankruptcy. Why?
I have nothing against people who file bankruptcy. It's a personal thing for me, and for everybody, personal decision. For me, I feel in anything you do, you need to make a commitment and fulfilling your commitments. So if I have borrowed money on credit or suppliers or whatever, my commitment is to pay them back. Financially, we have gone through a couple times. Well, back then, when my husband was not well, we went through that whole big thing of change. Mm-hmm. I owed a lot of money. I was behind on my taxes. I had, state and federal knocking on my door, and it was scary. And what was the decision? So the decision was just keep moving and keep going, and mm-hmm. Hold on. And we got through that, and we did. We got through it, and it's amazing we did it. Now here we are again because of a different reason. We lost a very big customer we had for 20 years, and the economy in this county is terrible. With the loss of the shutdowns of the casinos. So a lot of my homeowners are cutting services. A lot of my businesses cut their services. So we just got hit really, really hard. Mm-hmm. So financially, this time around, it's worse than it was years ago. Hmm. So the decision, the question again is bankruptcy. I just, as long as the Lord gives me the ability, physically and mentally, and the strength to get through what I'm going through, I feel I can do everything I can to try to avoid it. Now, if another catastrophe happens, I don't know how much longer I can get this, but we are weeding ourselves out of it. I would have to say the last 2 years, I am operating a business and a home with not 1 ounce of credit. And to operate a business, especially my type of business, because it's seasonal, which means I have a peak time 6 months of the year and 6 months of the year, and 6 months of the year is nothing, but those bills come in 12 months of the year. So it's like, how does that all work? So. And my objective is to continue paying off the old debt, not acquiring new debt, and still surviving, staying afloat. So it's a personal. Again, I don't look down on people who choose that. I just feel that, I think in general, not only in financial issues, I think, in general in other issues, maybe relationships, marital, people tend to just quit.
Yeah, I give up.
Like it's too hard. And I guess, maybe I'm too stubborn. I don't know. My mentality is, yes, it's supposed to be hard, because that's what it is.
That's right. All right. So Trump, during his debate last week, he rolling of the eyes, but he did point out, he made a good point, that we are losing a lot of American business people. They're leaving the country in search of a better tax rate, or just a better atmosphere for businesses. I know you don't want to leave the country, but have you ever considered leaving the state of New Jersey for some place that's more conducive to your business?
The way the economy is in this area specifically, the thought has come about, and not necessarily for taxes, but again for the economy. I mean, it's in a set. They say it's recovering, okay, and maybe it is. The thought has come by, my mind, and it's just so overwhelming, to think about starting another business in another area, and I find it so challenging just to keep up with the one I have here, and then branching into another area that's unknown. I don't know. It has the thought is there. What will happen? If it's the Lord's will, that will be what will happen. I don't know, but not for just tax reasons.
Right.
I've already settled for the fact that I've been doing it for this long in this state. I'm not just going to pick up and leave for that reason. It would have to be more than that.
I didn't ask about this one already, but when Obamacare, it's not completely been laid out for everyone yet, right? It's kind of an incremental kind of a thing. But so far, what effect has it had for you as a small business person?
As far as the medical end of
in the
medical insurance sense. Well, it has affected us. I always had medical insurance for the business. When, I guess it was 2 years ago, decided I wasn't able to do that because of the regulations because not all our employees are able to afford our benefits. And if they weren't able to take part in it, it was almost like a forced issue of whether I would have to pay them, and I would not be able to, pay for their benefits. I would not be able to do that. So interesting enough, for the first time in all the years of being in business, I took an individual route in medical, and I got penalized big time personally because I wasn't even able to keep up with those payments. So I think, the medical insurance it's very tricky, and I think it goes by the size of your business. So there's a lot of different regulations for different size businesses. For me, I'm facing it again. We're getting to that renewal at the beginning of the year, so I never know what the new paperwork is going to show, how it's going to affect me next year. Luckily, it's a situation that I have a good support team. I have a good insurance, company I work with, an agency, agent works with me, and so I don't have to know everything. Hopefully he knows what he's doing, and he can guide me accordingly. So
That's good.
Hopefully.
All right, the last question I have, just basically, what qualities do you believe make a good entrepreneur?
Actually, there's quite a few. I think, I thought of that question, and I wanted to list them because I didn't want to forget anything. One is really believe in what you are doing. Whether you're selling a product or a service, believe in it, and really be confident in with what you're doing, so that when you're dealing with your customers or your employees, they feel that confidence and they feel secure with you. Leadership skills. You have, even if you don't have a whole slew of employees, I think leadership skills are crucial. Again, as a good leader, you're presenting yourself in a business environment, whether it be with other business owners, customers, employees. You have to portray a certain leadership, again, so they feel comfortable with you. The ability to be open-minded and ability to be willing to learn. And also the ability to be willing to admit you're making a mistake, because it will happen.
Okay.
You will make mistakes, and not beat yourself up about it, and really learn from the mistakes. What else? I made some notes because there was I could have kept going on and on and on. You have to be willing to work hard. I think that's a key thing. I mean, if you're working hard as a business owner or entrepreneur, the people who are around you are going to work hard. I believe my employees work hard because they're not looking at me sitting around, just whatever, you portray. You have to portray that. It was a hard work. And people, again, who you're working with, whether your customers or other business, they want to be around people like that. It's a good thing. Do not be intimidated by new opportunities.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and again, it's being open-minded, and do not be intimidated by others. You can be, people get, again, it's a confidence level. And I think as the longer one's in business, and the longer one, even as you get older in general, even if you're not in business, you build that confidence in yourself. And you have to, because it's just the way you'll present and help others around you. Don't you want to be with someone who's really confident in themselves and what they're doing? And
that's right.
Right?
That's what, and we've talked about that in a free market system, the people who are successful are the people who are serving other people. That's the whole point, that's how you get money. Remuneration is for serving other people. You brought up, taking you didn't say taking chances or risks, but that's what I'm thinking, that you're open to that. Do you have in mind, was there a time in your 27-year period that there was a big risk that you took in the business, or was the whole experience a risk?
I think, I think most years in business is a risk. But I think actually what I'm living right now is a big risk. Anything could happen that could just, it could just fold us up. Because we're that close. And I think one thing I did not add as far as a quality of entrepreneur, not all entrepreneurs are Christians, we know that. But if you are a Christian, you best be praying every day. And that's one thing I do. I pray every day for, I'm thankful, very thankful for my employees. I'm thankful for my customers. I'm thankful for the opportunities. Also pray for strength and wisdom. You just, and just recognize that you're not in it by yourself, and that the Lord is there, and He is going to help you, and He is going to guide you. And I pray that I'm on the path that He wants me to be on. So, right now is a great risk, but at the same time, I have to sometimes sit back and remember, it's I'm not doing this by myself. So, it's really risky. If I was all by myself and I wasn't a Christian, then I would really be really, really worried.
I think that's a perfect note to end this on. Thank you again for taking the time, and thanks for listening.
Thank you.